Hey. Thank you for tuning in to the premiere episode of the Weekly Forgecast, a Halo and other tech news-centric podcast. I'm Lefty, or MJ Rookie, or whatever you want to call me, and with me today I have a few resident techies slash gamers slash Halo forgers. Let's top it off. Let's start with Hitbox Unknown. Hitbox.
Well, hello.
Howdy. I've also got the other fantastic content creator, NotSoPersian. Persian.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, and fantastically now we have Val1ant W0lf. I'm making up words as I go, by the way. Hope you don't mind. Val1ant W0lf.
How you doing?
Not too shabby. Hopefully the audience is good too. If we have one, I'm pretty sure we do. It's fine. Look, listen, we're good. Anyways, how's everyone doing today?
Pretty good.
I think I'm doing pretty well too. Like I mentioned earlier to you, I'm surprised I actually had the day off. I went to work today and I found out that I wasn't working. So, I'll call it a win.
I just got fired.
Jesus Christ. One thing leads to another, I guess. Wow. I'm sorry I'm laughing. That's pretty bad.
Well, it was the way I said it. Yeah, it was a seasonal. I have a new job lined up already.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, cool.
Like they didn't need me anymore because the season's over.
Oh, okay. Well, at the very least, you're not dying and you won't be in poverty anytime soon. I haven't actually had normal work in a while. I've been doing everything based off commissions, so that's been fun. So today we're going to be talking about a few different things, mostly the Xbox event that's coming next week. We're also going to be talking about Halo Infinite because we all are in love with Halo and can't wait to see what the new game is going to bring to the table. But most importantly, we're also going to be talking about what just happened today, which is Ubisoft's event. So let's talk about the first thing on the list, which is the next generation consoles. We have the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5. Now, with the Series X, why can't Microsoft name things like a normal person? Or a normal company?
They're probably just trying to keep themselves apart or separate or different. Actually, I forget which video it was, but one of the developers, or not developers, but engineers for the Series X, they were asking them, like, what is it called? The Xbox One is the Xbox One, the 360 is the 360. They're like, so you have a Series X, but what is this new one called? You just got just Xbox. He's like, we just want people to say, I want the newest Xbox, and that's what they'll get. And that was his reasoning. I think they're just trying to go for I think they're going for a more modular approach in their sales. So they're just kind of like, oh, I want an Xbox. Well, what type of Xbox instead of like a dedicated generation like PlayStation is going for. That's my assumption.
I see it. Go ahead. Sorry.
The only thing I would have to add to that is I think that it has a lot to do with their push onto the Windows platform. I think that the confusion of the naming, especially of this time, because they could have named it something a little easier to identify, had a lot to do with their owning of the Windows platform, and they just want everybody to feel that they can switch between platforms, which is very much what they've been doing. So it would make a lot of sense that it's called Series X because they want you to understand that you can participate in the Xbox atmosphere on any level.
Okay. I guess that makes sense. It looks like a Wii U situation to me, but more successful. Because...
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think it's in all honesty, I think something big is really happening. Xbox has kind of been on the back foot for a while now, and I've been seeing a lot of evidence of Xbox having confidence, like a lot of confidence. Usually Xbox, after they'll be cordial and professional about things, and they'll be like, oh yeah, great show, PlayStation or Nintendo or whatever. I remember one of the most recent tweets. PlayStation finished the show, and Xbox immediately tweeted, was like, I'm paraphrasing, said, guess what? All those games showed in that show, they're going to be on Xbox too, and they're also going to be played better than PlayStation. And it was like, that was like the tweet, just straight, like, fire, and it's a really, really confident. And the fact that they haven't set out their numbers yet, the pricing, I don't think they're putting out the pricing because they're afraid of their pricing. I think they're actively going to lose money and undercut the PlayStation, actively to make their system more powerful and cheaper. And I think Xbox is going for some big moves right now.
Right.
Like, if I had money to go throw into stocks, I would throw it.
So you think
months ago.
So you think that Xbox might be waiting to reveal or have PlayStation reveal their price first, or do you think we're going to actually get the Xbox price here at the event that's coming up?
I assume it might be a little bit later. It's just PlayStation doesn't want to be out undersold, but they're also a little more greedy. So I feel like if they just both picked a number and didn't pay attention to each other's prices, Xbox would still be cheaper. And I think Xbox doesn't want to put a price and then PlayStation just match it, because they will at least match it. So I think they're just waiting to undercut.
It honestly would be a lot like the Xbox 360 era and the PS3 era, where Sony's was like, what was it, like a $700 machine, $600 machine? Yeah, and then the Xbox 360 had a $200 and $300 model. Like, it had less features, but you could pick it up and play it almost immediately.
Yeah.
So,
they're really confident for a reason. Like, and they're not slowing down on buying companies either. Like, they look like they're making some big moves, and it's a bigger company too. So I feel
Microsoft as a whole is making a lot of big moves, and I think that's kind of the idea, because obviously they have Apple on their tail too for a lot of things.
Yeah, and Apple's kind of deteriorating, and their quality. I've seen like some of their products are getting less and less well made, as a short way to say it. And I think people are starting to realize Apple's products are not as great as they used to be, and I think Microsoft is just really trying to take advantage of it.
Like, wait till next week's episode, because the topic for next week's episode is Big Sur, the new Apple operating system.
Oh boy.
So we talked a little about PlayStation, but let's go ahead and fully get into it. We already know what the PlayStation 5 looks like.
Oh god.
We're not going to make the jokes here. And I did say this earlier, but I am going to backpedal on it. I originally said I don't think it's going to win any fashion contest, but I take that back fully because that pop collar looking Fly-Doh. So I think that if we're going to be saying it's not winning anything, it's not winning the smallest console of the year award.
No.
And
may I say something on that?
No, go for it, please.
Yeah, so when I originally saw it, I was a little upset with the design choice that they went with. Although I think after watching the reviews of other people who, go full into the gaming environment and they talk about their experience with past consoles and the idea of this design. And as I mentioned earlier, I think that the PlayStation is clearly trying to stand out because, as mentioned earlier, they're going after two different design philosophies, the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5. And the PlayStation 5 is clearly trying to highlight itself. You can argue that maybe it's not the best looking console, but I've never really heard anybody complain about how a router looks, even though that's what everybody's saying it looks like, right?
I thought we were avoiding the joke.
Well, I see in our script here that you have it listed as a router, and that is a design element. It looks like one, yeah, but routers do look typically good, and not to defend its design too much or too little. I just think that I know there's a lot of people who like the design, and going back a little bit on the previous discussion on Xbox's future on how they're buying up companies, I'm not too sure that the Xbox Series X will be successful in this generation, despite their monetary gains on other companies. And the reason being is what I have seen when they first announced the PlayStation 5, there was a developers conference where you can see the specifications of the PlayStation 5. And one of the main things that they highlighted in that conference, which was no games at that first conference, but was
right. It was
the
just
ease
for
to program.
developers. Yeah.
But yes, it was a developers conference. And so what they wanted to get across was how easy it was to develop for them. That was the highlight. If you were a developer and you'd program, you would understand that when you are making games for this console, that is their best thing that they have to sell to you, is they want to make it an easier experience.
Right.
And so the feature that we all know about the PlayStation 5 is its fast loading screens. But why does that happen? So a YouTuber, I forget who the name was, I'll give you his information so you can plug him into the video if you want.
Okay.
But he goes over and he explains that the way they approach the hard drive of the PlayStation 5 allows them to actually, let me go back a little bit. Whenever you play a game, the computer needs to generate the whole world. And as you turn your character, that world is still generated so that you can see it as you turn. But the PlayStation 5's hard drive is so advanced that it does not need to generate the world behind you. So it therefore saves a lot of memory on the console. And the YouTuber in this case was making the fact that while the PlayStation 5 may be less powerful on a technical point, that hard drive might actually provide it enough capability to save computational power to actually be better in graphical output than the Xbox Series X. I mean, could you imagine the PlayStation maybe being a little more expensive, but having less parts, still being better than the Xbox Series X, just because they focused on the computational functions of that hard drive? Because developers were talking about that. It's not easy to do.
That type of thing is actually something that's even in Halo 5. When you look over a wide range of objects, let's say you have a whole map's worth of objects and you look over it, your frame rate drops insanely strong because you're looking at all those objects. And all you need to do is put one block in front of your face, block that line of sight, and it doesn't have to render those things, and your frame rate's fine. That kind of a specific example has always been a thing in games. That's always something that games can do. And I think if you could just simply make a hard drive stronger, I would think everyone would do it. The Xbox Series X does have full SSD solid state drive, which is made for being faster and loading games.
So
from my understanding,
maybe they could like, what's it called? What's the word? What's the word for making like, for focusing on something? Crap, I'm forgetting the word.
You need to be a little more specific, but I think I get what you're saying. From my perspective,
on like making it that specific thing more powerful, and maybe it is slightly more effective. But I doubt that something that's slightly more effective at one aspect of loading the game is gonna override like pure power.
So there's two things that I can actually note about that. First of all, with Sony and their optimization, they do. Yeah, no, they do have. You're good. They do have optimization under the hood. However, with their hard drive, the way it is, it's going to be more. It's going to be a little more difficult for upgrades or anything like that to happen. Aside from the fact that you can use whatever system they're using for their hard drives, for externals, etc. Microsoft, on the other hand, did something similar, and except their optimization is in the DirectX, and they have optimization in the software side. So really, both of them will be easy to develop for, and I don't think that, while Sony was eager to brag, Microsoft has DirectX and their programming capabilities and their engineers and their long history of coding with DirectX behind them, since that's going to be what's running native Xbox stuff. But no, I think it's too early to tell really which one's going to be the fastest horse in this race, because while Sony does have that optimization in their hard drive, Microsoft has software optimization as well as, or firmware optimization more specifically, as well
Microsoft?
as, huh?
No,
Microsoft.
sorry.
Hey.
Yeah.
So we're kind of going over budget on time for this topic, so let's go ahead and talk about the next thing. I don't mean to cut anyone off, but there's a couple things that I want to know. And why has there yet to be any sort of DisplayPort support for consoles?
Do you think you could explain a little bit further what you're asking, just out of curiosity?
Did the Xbox have DisplayPort and HDMI, or was it just HDMI? Because
You mean
I'll tell you that right now.
You mean the plug-in for like the computers where you twist in the screws and stuff?
No. God, no. That's VGA. No, DisplayPort is a open source. Correct me if I'm wrong, internet, but DisplayPort is an open source video format, or not video format, but brain fart. But anyways, it's a different cable. And DisplayPort basically is faster, it's more reliable, and it's open source. Unlike HDMI. HDMI is trademarked, and you have to pay royalties to use it. So Microsoft and Sony are paying royalties to put HDMI in their consoles, which makes no sense.
Okay.
So my PC actually has that DisplayPort, and so I was looking at that, and I was looking at the back of the Xbox One X to see if it had that, and I don't think it does.
No, it doesn't.
The Xbox One Series X, while it is a very powerful console and it's going to be getting like more computational power, it's still meant to be in the living room, and the primary display will be HDMI. So I think for them to add another port for a minority of gamers that actually do plug it in via DisplayPort might be too much at a cost. Although you could argue that if the console is supposed to be that powerful, it probably deserves to have a port like that, and it might. But given the market of gamers, if they really want a DisplayPort, then they should go with PC, which is a part of the Windows ecosystem. So do they lose? I don't think so.
I think if oh, go ahead. Sorry,
I just did a tiny little bit of research on what a DisplayPort is. To me, it seems like the whole point of a system or a console is just something cheap you could buy and it works.
Yeah.
And I think the reason why they use HDMI is because HDMI is one cable you plug in one spot and you plug it into the TV. Whereas DisplayPorts, I believe, are only the visual. So now you don't only need to plug in DisplayPort, but now you got to figure out how to plug some sort of audio cable into the Xbox and then plug that cable into the TV.
Okay, I see where you're coming from.
Now you have more things people have to worry about, more wires, more cables. And systems are all about just one thing. You have
one
less
thing
wires,
working.
all that.
Okay.
But don't the Xboxes have like an audio port on them included? So I mean,
but not all TVs have an audio port that you can plug into. So
fair enough.
Especially modern TVs, the ones you buy at like Black Friday has like 2 HDMI ports, and then if you lose the remote, you're screwed because there's no buttons.
I feel like we could expect display ports on like more like. I guess yeah, the Series X would probably be something a little bit more, but when like console and PC start to really meld together, because I don't see it coming. Consoles are made for the masses, just for living room TVs, something simple, plug in one cable, you're good. Like they're not thinking about that person with a PC, a gaming PC, who randomly bought an Xbox and randomly wants to plug their PC monitor into it instead of their TV. Sorry.
I do see
That's
it.
Yeah.
That actually makes way more sense. And now I don't regret actually bringing it up as a topic, but it definitely is something I'm looking at. Like, yeah, that makes more sense now that it's said out loud. What about in revision, like the Xbox Series X S? Because Microsoft naming schemes, they're a thing.
It's definitely what if call the Series S.
Oh my god, yeah. It's like, well, no, we'll have the Xbox Series X, and then there's apparently, supposedly,
an
the S that will be diskless. So will they have a Xbox Series XS and an Xbox Series SS?
No.
Oh, definitely not
I'm
that
pretty
last
sure-
one. Oh
I'm pretty-
God, no. No.
I'm pretty sure it's just gonna be Xbox Series S and Xbox Series X, and then I don't know,
Right.
some random thing we haven't thought of like Xbox Series Y or something.
Right.
I
Oh
think
God, no. Not the Xbox Series X1. Oh no.
I think that they someone mentioned earlier that when you try to describe the console, like you said, the 360 and the Xbox One,
Mhm.
that they're calling this the Xbox, and I think that if there is a naming scheme, it'll probably be Xbox like 2025 or Xbox 2030.
Oh God, it's
They're
a
probably-
Madden game now. Is that
Or
it?
just the Xbox Series.
Yeah,
So
there's no need to.
Just
Xbox
drop the
Series.
X. Yeah.
There's no
When
need
you're
to keep
referring to-
numbering things. It's everything's so modular, as mentioned earlier. It's not really.
Yeah, that's
necessary.
probably what they're shooting for, is just modular. So you just have the Xbox Series, and then whatever letter is after that is the type of Xbox they're talking about. And I'm assuming that's probably what they're going for. So then now, like even like 10 years down the line, the Xbox Series W.
God, I hope they make an Xbox Series XL. And I'm just like, I got it now.
It's an actual refrigerator. There's a screen built right onto the side.
It has a built-in mini fridge and microwave that cooks your hot pockets for you while you're gaming.
Oh, and they teamed up
okay.
with KFC to bring you the chicken drawer.
Oh God, that's a console I would buy.
It goes great with the Xbox One Grease controller that they had.
Oh, they had a controller too. That's crazy.
Yeah, so Xbox had a controller for the Xbox One that was for not Battlefield, PUBG, and it was coated in anti-grease, so you could have chicken dinner while gaming. It was specifically made so you could eat chicken and then use the controller at the same time.
And out of curiosity, was there a marketing campaign? I'm curious who they were marketing this towards.
They were marketing it towards collectors because it was a collector's edition controller. That's literally it. If you guys want to, look up the picture of that thing.
I'm going to wait till you post it on the video and
Okay.
rewatch the video.
Okay.
That just made me think of an idea. Oh, when Infinite's coming out, they should have a promotional like Halo Infinite Dorito bag where the Doritos are shaped like Xbox controllers.
Oh my! No. Actually, yes, that sounds great.
That'd be no, it would be hard.
It would be difficult because there's like specific steps to doing it, but I want that now. Okay, so let's go on to the next topic. Speaking of Xbox Series X, let's talk about the event that's coming in a week. First off, I want to cordially ask you guys back for when we do episode 2 in 1 week or so. And then I would like you guys to come back for the live stream where we react live to the Series X launch.
Totally. That sounds like fun. Let's
Yeah.
hope I don't.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Well, actually, let's hope I have work, but let's hope I don't work on that day.
Yes. I know what you meant.
That's a very good point.
So speaking of the event, a little prelude. Why has all of our Halo news come through Mega Bloks? Like, legitimately everything that has come down the pipeline in the past couple months has been Mega Blok leaks or actual releases of the minifigures and build sets.
Do you think they're going to tell us when the beta is through Mega Blok?
Honestly,
I can actually somewhat answer that. It's
Okay.
actually to do with corporations and sales and stuff. You see toy sales and books and basically anything that goes into stores runs on a different calendar year than we do.
Right. Fiscal
excuse me.
quarters and fiscal years.
Mm-hmm.
I worked
They,
for GameStop for 5 years. That is speak to my ears.
Mm-hmm. So they have to release their product early, so stores will know if they should put that like in top shelves on in their stores.
Right. Okay, that makes sense, but also the leaks is a little ridiculous, though.
Mhm.
I wonder what the
that's
market
another
is.
thing is they're not necessarily tied to the marketing team. They're basically doing the marketing team's job.
Right. Which is hilarious, if I'm going to be honest.
It just means the marketing team they're waiting so long that the literal physical sales of toys and products are revealing more of the game than they are themselves. Like, I think usually at this point in time, they usually have shown a few amount of things. Most media, like, once they have things made, they have something to show.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, we had a beta for Halo 5.
Yeah.
Right. Well, if I may go, this is one thing that I actually was thinking about the other day. Remember Halo 5's marketing campaign, the Hunt the Truth campaign, the best Halo campaign ever made, with the lead up, with the lead up to that story, which we will not talk about right now.
I love Halo Hunt the Truth.
Oh man, such a good podcast series, such a good the trailers for like Locke and Chief switching places with one like beating up the other. Oh, yeah, that was so good. We don't have that this time around.
I was really hoping to see I forgot the female character who betrayed the main character in that series, but I was really hoping to see hints of them throughout the Halo 5 series, but I guess that'd be kind of hard to do.
Long story short, most of the reason why Halo 5 turned out the way it is because they were like, we have to scrap the current script and go with whatever you guys have, because we have to release when Call of Duty does to compete. Philosophically, that's a word too. I'm making up stuff, remember. In philosophy, that's worked historically, but in my opinion, Call of Duty is getting so beat out of the bush with how often they release. I feel like they should have just waited at least 6 months and then release Halo 5, and then it would have been more popular.
I think it depends. What was the Call of Duty 5 years ago?
Oh, God, I don't even remember.
It was Infinite Warfare.
Are you sure? Because I feel like Infinite Warfare came out like
before. Yeah, sorry.
I feel like it came like a year.
Was it Black Ops 3?
It was Advanced. Sorry. It was Advanced.
Oh, Advanced Warfare. Okay.
Yeah, because there was some controversy with Infinite Warfare actually copying some aspects of Halo 5.
Oh my God, and that was hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I remember that, yeah.
And it was even after Stasis had dropped on Halo 5.
So, yeah, Infinite Warfare and Advanced Warfare. I remember when I was working at GameStop during that time, they were our most pre-ordered Call of Duties and most pre-order canceled Call of Duties. It was hilarious and the worst thing ever. We got the pre-orders because people are like, $5 down? Sure, why not? But the cancellations were because, I can get my money back. Cool, thanks. Halo Infinite. What do you guys hope to see? They're showing us campaign. We know that much. But what do you hope from the campaign?
I'm hoping kind of like I don't know. I don't have any like specific campaign hopes because I'm not even sure what they could do with it, and I don't think anything I could suggest would make anything better. So all I'm just hoping for is the vibe is similar to Halo CE because that's what it seemed like, and I feel like that's what it should be.
Can I post images as a response?
Oh heck yeah! Yeah, if you post images as a response, I'll put them in the video.
Okay, here. This is my response to that. That's what I want to happen in Halo Infinite. Well, like number one.
Is that Atriox punching Cortana?
Yes. He also has cool guy glasses on.
That's funny. That's terrible. I love it.
The Banished are just such a superior antagonist.
Well, and I'm glad that they're putting the Banished in there because, like, the Covenant weren't really antagonists. They were honorable, like Klingons. Like, if you, well, okay, more honorable in some regards. Look, but the Banished, they're literal ruthless. They don't give a. They don't have any prophets to guide them. They don't have any. They have a war criminal to guide them. That's how most stories should start. Hey, a war criminal decided to be a leader, and then suddenly the universe is in trouble because there's like 17 factions attacking the universe.
I'm just curious, though, that if they do have the Banished as a faction, they don't seem to hate humans for the same reason that Covenant do. And then I'm actually kind of curious, if they were a splinter faction, would it be possible that we fight even humans too? That would be kind of hard to put in the game, but I just feel like the Banished aren't sided with the Covenant, therefore they will take allies where they could, and they may not be sided with the humans per se, but what point do they have to still hate humans the way the Covenant did?
Banished humans. I would like to play around with that idea a little bit.
Possibly Spartans, just to make it interesting. But
right. Yeah. Like, basically insurrectionists, except 10 times worse.
Sadly,
for the most part.
I'm going to have to shut this idea down with these ideas of fighting insurrectionists is cool. I really love that idea in Halo 5. That's what I expected in Halo 5. But after, with a little bit of hindsight, there's some countries, and like in real life world, thinking like a corporate person, there are countries where you cannot play video games that you shoot at humans.
Mm-hmm. Which is why Call of Duty is banned in some countries.
If they care about money, you're not gonna care. They're not gonna have shooting. Like what? That's an entire country that's not gonna buy your game anymore. It's like, no, keep shooting aliens and robots and you're fine.
Well, what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to add to that. I highly doubt that's gonna be the main reason. The main reason that they wouldn't do that is because they want to keep that T for teen rating to broaden their audience. I don't think they're going to make this next Halo M for mature.
Which is going to be lame.
I mean,
maybe
I'm wrong. Let's see if I'm wrong. Oh, we lost someone. Oh, we got him back.
You're back, Mr. Wolf?
Oh, I was wondering why you were so quiet.
I was wondering why everyone else was so quiet.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, we stopped recording. You didn't know that? No. Okay, so going on from that, what do you hope for multiplayer? And do you think we're actually going to get a beta dropped on the campaign reveal?
Highly likely. If not shortly after. If they don't drop a beta, then that's when it's time for them. Like, I'm already a little worried about the state of Infinite for how quiet they're being, but also seeing how confident Xbox is being. Maybe they, because it's Xbox, they have insider knowledge. Maybe they know something about Infinite. Maybe that's why they're so confident. Like, they're using Infinite as a flagship title again. So hopefully it's good, but if they don't release that beta, or if they don't even tell us when the beta comes out after the campaign launch, I don't think I'm going to be a little worried.
So
I'm just a little concerned, even if they did put a beta, what would that change if we all hate it? They don't have enough time to change anything.
Biggest reason they're being quiet is because they want to focus all of their efforts on game development, and that's why there's been no marketing. It basically allows... What was that?
You mean they do want to focus it all on game development?
Well, that's what I meant. Yeah. So all of their efforts are focused on game development right now, and no financial, nothing in the way of finances has been really put into huge bits of marketing. They want to basically make sure that all the funds they can are put into making the game as perfect as it is. Or as perfect as it will be, which is pretty huge. So
I'm concerned about that too, because if this is your launch title should have the most face time, I think, because you're trying to make that the game that you identify with this console, just like with Halo CE and the original Xbox. I imagine, because I don't recall, that the marketing for that Xbox was Halo CE. And I mean, obviously there was COVID, so they could, you can give them a little bit of leniency, but PlayStation 5 has a bunch of game titles that personally I think are a lot stronger, maybe not by themselves, but just in mass, than just one Halo 5. Or Infinite, I'm sorry. I know there's going to be other games out there, but I just don't see keeping Halo quiet this far as being beneficial to Microsoft, which is ultimately what matters when you're thinking of as a Microsoft executive. You need to sell the console.